Alright everyone, tonight is the night of nights, our series debut game against Syracuse. Welcome back to the College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode series featuring the Fordham Rams and of course our main man, Coach Carter. Fordham makes the 4.5-hour bus ride upstate to the intimidating Carrier Dome to tip off Season 1 in what many people think will be a tough outing for us. This matchup doesn't look that good on paper, but if we play as a team and hit some shots and move the ball around against this 2-3 zone, we should be able to stick around at least. If we keep it competitive today, I think that's a huge win in itself to begin the series. But before we tip it off against the Orangemen, let's tune into the highly anticipated season preview show hosted annually by Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg, where we're going to find out the first top 25 poll, the preseason All-American lists, and a little nod to Coach Carter somewhere in between. If you want to skip it, just select the time at the bottom of your screen. And without further ado, let's preview Season 1.
Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Greg Gumbel here with my partner Clark Kellogg bringing you the 2K Sports Season Preview Show. These are the top 5 teams in college hoops as we begin the new season. The Louisville Cardinals come in as the #1 ranked team, followed by Maryland, Georgia Tech, Kentucky, and Virginia Tech. So Clark, what's your initial impression of our top 5 teams?
I like the potential of each of these teams. I think all of them have a chance to win the championship this year. They're poised, loaded with talent, hungry, and very eager to prove themselves this coming year.
Georgia Tech comes in as #3. These are the defending national champions, and they're getting a lot of respect going into this season.
Usually, last year's champs get the benefit of the doubt in the first poll of the next season. So we'll find out soon enough if their position in the top 5 is based on reputation or is warranted.
Here's the next group of teams in our preseason top 25. What's your impression of that set of teams?
With such a long season ahead of us, it's almost impossible to put a finger on just who the contenders and pretenders are from this set of teams. But that doesn't mean we won't try.
How about this list?
The difference between this group and the previous group is depth, plain and simple. They can match up with anybody at the start of the game, but due to a short bench, they just won't be able to keep up through the end.
There was no shortage of movement in the coaching ranks during the offseason. Here are the coaches who made a change this offseason. Some very interesting moves on the list, to say the least. Coach Carter also made a move to a new school, and that's generated some excitement on that campus. The Fordham Rams are a team looking to rebuild under their new leader.
He's going to have to make do with the players he inherited for a little while. But once he can get a year or two of recruiting under his belt and bring in his own guys, I think this program will take off.
We've come to the part of the show when we look at the top players in the nation and unveil the list of our preseason All-Americans. There before you are the 5 first-team All-Americans as we begin the season, and what a list it is.
Dotson is the first player on the list for good reason. Feels like this guy's been playing college basketball forever. This will be his 4th year as a starter. But I still don't take him for granted, and I think this will be his best season of all of them. Blank is simply a spectacular player. He's a former high school Mr. Basketball he was Virginia's Mr. Basketball in high school. He's a hero in his home state, and he hasn't let those fans down. He's taken his game to the next level and improved as the competition has gotten stiffer. Hughes is one of my favorite players in the country.
He should have no problems leading his team in rebounding again this season. He's a broad-shouldered kid who can take up space and inhale anything that comes off that rim.
White is going to play a huge role in his team's success. He certainly wasn't afraid to mix it up inside last season. He came away with an average of 5 rebounds a game.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him match those numbers again this year. He has a knack for finding the loose ball.
Number 30 is going to have his own personal highlight reel by the end of this season. It isn't out of the realm of possibility to say that he might even be a little bit underrated. I know it seems far-fetched to say that about a preseason All-American pick, but I'm not sure people realize just what a huge year he's in for, Greg.
As we move to the second-team All-Americans, we can see there's no shortage of talent with this group. They're all elite players with the potential to dominate the game.
Chambers was close to a spot on the first team, but there was too much competition this season. He was a multiple threat on the offensive end of the court last season, and there will be more of the same this time around. He led his team in scoring, and it's a lock that he'll do it again. Lattimore is in the spotlight for all the right reasons. He can make things happen on the basketball court thanks to his unique ability to read and understand defenses, while most players are just trying to come up with their next move. He's 3 steps ahead of the game, and that's what separates the good players from the great. Charrington is an extremely powerful weapon for his team. If I had to pick some frontrunners for the Player of the Year award, he would be right there on the list. I've seen him take over games even when he isn't scoring 30. There are some great scorers among these All-Americans, and he's one of them. But he does much more than score. Pritchard is one of the great talents in the college game today. We always talk about the guys with great hands. Well, he's got great feet. I love those happy feet. There are few players in the nation with better footwork than him, and that's what allows him to always be in the right position, whether it comes to rebounding or finding space for an open shot. Brinkley is ready to have a breakout season. There's plenty to like about him as a player. He's got that deadly combination of smarts and physical skills that makes him so difficult to defend. A coach's mentality in the body of a world-class athlete. Any questions as to why he's on the list?
All right, Clark, that about wraps things up. On behalf of State Farm and the crew, I'd like to thank you again for joining us on the 2K Sports Season Preview. We'll see you during the season. So long, everyone.
A pretty interesting season preview show, to say the least. Coach Carter gets a nod into the spotlight when, with his history and credentials, he's no stranger to the media spotlight. But we also saw two preseason All-American picks, both playing for the defending Atlantic 10 champions, St. Louis. Those Billikens look like a very heavy favorite to run the table once again in the A10. But now is the time to talk strategy, as Syracuse comes into the season just on the outside looking into the top 25 poll, featuring a very impressive duo of 87 overall off-guard Severin Harris and big man Shannon Hazel. Harris is a guy whose offensive talent could land him on one of the All-American lists at season's end. He's a tremendous athlete who combines his physical gifts with his dead-eye-like shooting ability. If Harris can improve on his finishing skills, there's no reason why he shouldn't average 20 in his first season as an upperclassman. Shannon Hazel is the second half of the Syracuse offensive attack. Hazel is a bruising 6'9" forward with a stocky build. He plays center for this team, and he outweighs our starting center, Cade Sorensen, by almost 25 pounds, and has improved on his scoring year by year since stepping on campus. There's no doubt that attacking this 2-3 zone is something Coach Carter worked in and night out leading up to this game. Syracuse always seems to have a lot of length, a lot of speed on roster, and this season no exception. They're a really gritty team. They don't score a lot of points, but they hold their opponents to low field goal percentages, meaning that we have to crash the glass for easy putbacks against this zone if the shots aren't falling, and we have to play bigger against these orange players. And furthermore, in the eve of this game, Coach Carter calls his starting five into his office for a pep talk. NCAA rule states you can only give 10 pep talks per season, but using 5 the night before our debut game will definitely go a long way. It's going to be a stadium with 30,000 people versus us 14 guys on Fordham, so we have to stay together. If a teammate hits the deck, help them off the floor, be there for one another, and most importantly, have fun, and try to run and gun a little bit with our athleticism. Not many players can say they've played in the Carrier Dome in their career, so be sure to soak it all in while we're here. And finally, before we get started, I've gotten some questions on how I run automatic plays, and I'll show you how I do it. So you gotta head into options, scroll to coach settings, and make sure these two options are set to show all, play vision and play call messages, because a little fun fact about this game, even when these are set to off, your players won't freelance. They'll still try to run the play that the game automates for you. So your players will just stand around and not moving because you can't see where to start the play as your point guard, if that makes sense. So with that in mind, even as an experienced player of this game, I've probably played this video game more than any other in my life, I always have this on. And I also have a bonus tip for you guys. If the game is starting to feel a little repetitive with all the CPU plays that the CPU runs, because they'll run the same plays sometimes over and over, check this out. At the team selection screen, hit Y on the Xbox or a triangle for the PS3 and hit game options. Scroll near the bottom for team playbooks and scroll through until you see all plays, and have that on for both teams. That'll open up the entire catalog of plays in this entire game for your opponent and for yourself if you so choose. That'll make the gameplay feel a lot fresher since the CPU won't keep running the same plays over and over for your team and the opponent. So I hope you guys enjoyed these tips, and I'll see you in Syracuse for our debut game. We gotta stay focused, and we gotta stay together. Here's to a new era of College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode action. There's no doubt in my mind there's going to be a lot of watchful eyes on this game from both the media and college basketball fans of all shapes and sizes. Will Coach Carter complete another miraculous rebuild, or was he just a one-hit wonder at UT Martin? Well, if he's able to get his inferior roster to play up with Syracuse on opening night, that'll definitely be a very solid first step to success. It'll be Syracuse in the white, and Fordham in the maroon road jerseys with the white trim. So here we go, a new era of Legacy Mode action is finally underway with Shannon Hazel, the junior big fella for the Syracuse Orange, winning the tip, and we're off and running. Syracuse coming off a season where they did not make the March Madness tournament in the previous season of this series when Coach Carter finished up his last season at UT Martin. Corey McKnight off the mark to begin the game. And the Fordham Rams, they earn a stop on their first possession of this Legacy Mode series. Let's see what they have cooking up on the offensive end. Hassan Rivera trying to exploit the 2-3 zone, working fast. Not to his benefit, though, he misses. Severn Harris leading the break, and it swings inside to Tito Williams, who knocks down the layup. Tito Williams, a 6'1 starting point guard for the Syracuse Orangemen, also applying pressure to Vashon Pollard. Well, you're going to see Syracuse, they'll come out in a full court man pressure and then sag back into that 2-3 zone. So they're going to try to apply pressure and slow down tempos of teams all the way through until Evangelo Higgins knocks down the jumper with the foot on the line for our first bucket of this new series. As Evangelo Higgins, only a sophomore, but he's a 73 overall, our top-rated player, and a team that is looking for an offensive identity as he shoots again, knocks another one down to cut the Syracuse lead down to a single point. Higgins starting out 2 for 2, 6-5 Syracuse lead as we have the possession with a chance to take our first lead of the entire series. Hassan Rivera, our starting 3, finds our top returning scorer at the elbow. That is AJ Ali, who earned some free throws. AJ Ali, a 6'8 senior from New York. He averaged about 8.5 points per game last season on a team that desperately needs an offensive identity. Good free throw shooter, good poise for this senior. He's one of 3 seniors we have in the starting lineup. Now checking in 5 minutes into the game is Preston Murphy. He fills the void at the 3 by Hassan Rivera, as this one is a miss. Ali with the outlet pass, finding Pollard looking back door to Murphy, and that was a very crisp 2-man game run right there. What a break there by Fordham. Pollard is our top returning assist man. He put up about 3.5 dimes a game last year, and his first one on his senior campaign is a beauty. So now knotted up at 10 apiece. This one swings over to Murphy, little ball fake, works to the baseline, and he gets another one. Preston Murphy, the sophomore 6-man. He is a very volume shooter. His efficiency was really lacking last year as we head into the post with Boyer, who puts the little shimmy shoulder move on 2 Fordham players. He gets a 3-point play to fall, knotting this thing back up at 12 apiece. So, the Orangemen playing down to the competition a little bit to begin this ball game with 8:42 left to go, but that will retake the lead as AJ Ali not on the same page there with Preston Murphy. But then Ali gets the steal right back, lead pass inside to Preston Murphy, not giving up on the play. What a turnaround there, what a sequence for the Fordham Rams. They retake the lead, but not before Syracuse has another answer. So 15-14 game, 7 minutes to go here in the first half. AJ Ali, entry pass, kicks it out to Amir Holiday for 3, and the Fordham Rams continue to have a very nice start to this game. That is Amir Holiday as Jim Boeheim burns a timeout. Holiday, a former D2 player who transferred to Fordham in the previous offseason. This is his first season of D1 ball. He has his first D1 basket under his belt as well, as then he finds Fabian Swanson, and Swanson knocks down a baseline jumper. Fabian Swanson, he is a JUCO transfer, another new face to this Fordham team. A lot of pretty talented underclassmen to build around moving forward, and Fordham has a 5-point lead with 5 minutes to go as Severn Harris knocks down an 18-footer to finally record his first field goal of the ball game. Harris starting out 1 for 5 as beating the press is Amir Holiday, recording a basket after he absorbs the bump by Shannon Hazel. Fordham, man, they are playing up with Syracuse and getting a couple lucky shots to fall, but you're going to need some luck on your side if you're going to hang with Syracuse. But there is Caleb Tilford, another very talented combo guard on the Syracuse team, knocking down the long-range 3, and then Holiday gives it away. Severn Harris bounce pass, it's tipped, but Tito Williams recovers as this one is given inside to Clyde Bingham. So now finally we're starting to see Syracuse play to their ability, knotted up by 24 apiece. As the Orangemen on a little bit of a run here. Amir Holiday gives this one up to Nick Nystrom, the backup point guard inside. What a pass! Fordham continues to play as a team. And it's starting to become contagious. I mean, when you share the rock like this, everybody wants to throw a dime and make that extra pass. Fabian Swanson, a guy we have very high hopes for, the JUCO transfer. He's really our only rotational big man off the bench starting in season 1, so he's going to see a lot of minutes as a sophomore first-year player. Now 26 apiece, nice backdoor baseline bounce pass. Nick Nystrom with assist number 2. Again going to Swanson. He's got that mid-range game working. 7 bench points for Fabian Swanson, and Fordham is back up on top by 2. Severin Harris with a head full of steam, kicking it out to Caleb Tilford, who hangs. And this one will also not fall for the Orangemen. Another big stop by Fordham. But I mean, hey, in this era of college basketball with the one and done rule, you're starting to see a lot more games like this. Mid-major teams actually giving power conference opponents a run for their money. You know, even teams like Fordham, who are inferior, they have a lot of guys who have played 4 years together. We have more than half our roster as upperclassmen. As an upperclassman sets a screen for Evangelo Higgins to ride the baseline to record points 6 and 7. We have a lot of experience on this team, while Syracuse is working a lot of guys into the starting 5 for the first time. So there is Randall Boyer hitting a 3. That's 6 points on the game for him to cut the lead back down to 1 as Evangelo Higgins out of control. Lead pass to Harris, sagging off as Higgins, and there is the first 3-pointer for Severin Harris. We were waiting for that one. Severin Harris, a very talented shooter coming off a season where he took 113 threes. He made 42% of them, and he's one of the best 3-point shooters that college basketball has to offer. So now down by 2, 6 seconds to go. Fordham milking the clock for the last possession. 4 seconds, Higgins works it to the elbow. Sorensen, not much of a jump shooter, and that one is a little bit short as we head into the intermission down by 2. And really impressive performance, to say the least. Who expected a 1-point game at the half? I'm sure the basketball world didn't. And it was a very healthy shooting percentage for the Rams. That's where it all started. They're really deciphering this zone, executing well, and especially the bench unit. I think the starting 5 owes the reserves some dinner after this game. I mean, 18 out of our 30 points came from the second unit, with Fabian Swanson, Preston Murphy, and Amir Holiday all leaving their mark. The only caveat is our starting front court only has 3 points between AJ Ali and Cade Sorensen. It's been hard finding them for scoring opportunities. Can't really post up against this 2-3 zone, but I'm also in love with the team play. Everyone is just out there trusting each other. I think those pep talks pregame from Coach Carter are really helping out for the mental aspect of this matchup. Fordham scored 13 field goals, and 9 of them have been assisted on. That is an awesome number to see, and an awesome way to beat the zone. I mean, you beat a 2-3 zone with passes, not dribbles. Randall Boyer leads Syracuse with 6 points in what's been a really off night for Syracuse. You're going to see that sometimes even with big name teams with so much turnover every season. Their debut games and their season openers can be a little tough to watch at times. We'll see if their star Severin Harris can turn it around with his 2 for 7 shooting performance, and we'll see if Fordham can make things competitive down the stretch. So we're checking back in here with Fordham trailing after a very impressive first half, only losing by a single bucket as AJ Ali curls off the screen to begin the second half of action. Nothing doing there as Syracuse packs it in once again. Nice little flick pass to AJ Ali, finding Hassan Rivera for his first bucket. Rivera, our small forward, not much of an offensive threat, but he does have a good mid-range shot, and he was 0 for 3 up until that point, but he gets on the board. So now 32 apiece. AJ Ali tries to work inside, but the tough day continues for our top returning scorer as Tito Williams throws up the lob. Here comes the pain, says Severin Harris as he looks to get it going. Syracuse star shooting guard only 2 for 7 in the first half. Williams, coming off a season where he averaged around 5 assists a game, throws a nice one to Harris. Now Rivera working off the ball screen. AJ Ali has Tito Williams on him. He wants redemption, this time going over his right shoulder and a little kiss off the window. Fordham continues to play super well. And I know AJ Ali, it's not been a great day for him, but he does have 4 assists. He's basically doing everything else but scoring. So Ali, a very poised and smart player, as we see Severin Harris putting the stop and go move on Cade Sorensen on the other side of the floor. Harris with a quick 6 points in the first 5 minutes of the second half. He's up to 11 with a snap of a finger. Harris is someone you can never count out. So we'll jump ahead a little bit to 8 minutes left. Nick Nystrom, the backup point guard, enters the game with Fabian Swanson. This one is grabbed by Shannon Hazel, another promising Syracuse player who struggled today. And this is the biggest lead that Syracuse has had in this entire game. The Orangemen enjoying a 12-2 run right now as they start to separate themselves from the competition. And Preston Murphy getting a little heckling from the Syracuse mascot right there. So you're starting to see firsthand this very imposing environment as Preston Murphy tries to tell the Orangemen to be quiet, but he cannot make the 3. And I mean, how do you defend that one on the other end? Tito Williams, his 3rd assist, once again going to Severin Harris as Syracuse is out of position. Another great dime by AJ Ali. Man, that's his 5th assist, and that paces all players on both sides up to this point. So Fordham, they're trying to respond after a huge Syracuse run. Severin Harris off the mark, but Clyde Bingham there for the follow and the three-point play opportunity. Amir Holiday could not grab the rebound over the 7-foot backup big fella for the Syracuse Orangemen. It's definitely been a big change here in the second half. We were out-rebounding Q's 11-9 in the first half, but they've started crashing the glass. Jim Boeheim has his players starting to play to their full capacity here in the second half after a pretty flaccid first half of action. Now up by 13, Fordham trying to keep it competitive here, and we get the friendly bounce from the elbow by Preston Murphy. Nice shot there. 10 bench points for the sophomore. So Fordham continues to work the elbow. That's how you beat this 2-3 zone. They continue to go inside and out like you see right here. Vashawn Pollard with a rainbow over to Preston Murphy for the three. One corner to another. How did Vashawn Pollard get enough airtime to get it over the rim and backboard to Preston Murphy? And Coach Carter continues to like what he sees. We're probably not going to win this game. Syracuse just too talented for us. They're too big, too physical, too athletic. But, I mean, hey, we still have it down within 11 with 4:38 left to go as the entry pass is taken away. Preston Murphy to Vashawn Pollard. Nice job. Nice change of direction. Murphy hooks up with Pollard for a chance at 2 free throws here. Vashawn Pollard, a 6'6" combo guard senior. At least I thought he was a combo guard. He's starting to make some really nice passes. We saw him put up 9 assists in the kickoff scrimmage game in Midnight Madness, and he's doing a good job being a floor general and a leader tonight as this one's kicked over to Severin Harris for 3. That is Evangelo Higgins' assignment right there, and Syracuse further extends their lead. This is their biggest of the ball game at this point, and eventually it would swell up to 17. So with 2 minutes to go, probably not going to win this game. This game's starting to get out of hand a little bit as AJ Ollie tries to salvage his tough shooting day with a couple free throws. But this is a great time to work on some things if you're Fordham moving forward. And one of those things is a full court 1-2-1-1 press. We saw UT Martin run this when Coach Carter was at the helm. Sometimes they don't run it all the time, but Fordham gets the stop there, gets the steal, and gives themselves an extra possession inside to Fabian Swanson, but they cannot convert off of the turnover forced. So only a couple more possessions as we wind out this game. Fordham down 70-53 as Syracuse pulls away. We're going to end it off of a high note. Fabian Swanson, 9 points off the bench for the sophomore junior college transfer as he tickles the twine there from 15 feet. Another nice pass there by a Fordham player. And the final score to be would be 70-55, a 15-point game. But, I mean, hey, Fordham was in it pretty much all the way up until about 6 minutes to go when Syracuse started to hit the boards really hard and started to shoot up to their full capacity. And let's take a look at the box scores. So outscored by 13 in the second half by the Orangemen. 9 points for Evangelo Higgins. He led all of the starting 5. Vashawn Pollard 3 assists, but he went kind of cold there in the second half. AJ Ollie 2 for 8 shooting, but 5 assists and 4 rebounds. And Cade Sorensen 8 rebounds. I didn't get to show him much on the highlights, but he had a very solid day. He played up with Syracuse, our center Cade Sorensen. Preston Murphy 13 on 6 for 8 shooting. Moving forward, he is a guy, as long as he improved his efficiency from the season before Coach Carter got here, he is a guy that could flirt with the starting 5 pretty soon. Fabian Swanson and Amir Holiday, the former walk-on Holiday in his first full season at D1 ball, both those guys really impressed in their first D1 action. 23 points for Severin Harris. He had 18 of those in the second half, 9 for 20 on the game. Tito Williams, also a solid performance, and Shannon Hazel had 8 of his 10 in the second half as well. Syracuse just found their rhythm, and I mean, hey, what can you do? We kept it close for a pretty good majority of the contest. So, looking ahead to our season schedule, we're going to have Manhattan next week, next Wednesday, in fact, on the 13th. And this one's actually a lot more closer on paper than I thought it was going to be when I constructed this schedule pre-season. Manhattan is about the same overall as us on paper, and they're coming off a season opener where they put up 84 points against their opening day opponent, shooting 53% as a team, snagging 37 rebounds. It's going to be a lot tougher than I thought. But I think if we play like we did against Syracuse, especially in that first half, I think we can secure our first win here at Fordham. Not only that, but in the next episode, we're also going to be hopping in to our Legends Classic preseason tip-off tournament, an invitational. And I wanted to schedule one with a lot of good competition, and safe to say, mission accomplished. We're going to be taking on Ole Miss, an SEC opponent in the first round, and facing the winner of Fresno State and Texas Tech if we can pull off the upset. So we're the lowest ranked overall team in that 14 bracket, so a lot of good competition there. And I also have some early recruiting news for you guys as well to wrap up season or episode 3. So it's official that Coach Carter has offered his first scholarship to Dustin Black, the 3-star combo guard we saw last episode from upstate Pennsylvania. We have a pretty big lead on him. Fordham looks like they're going to run away with this recruiting race. Some good handling and 3-point shooting from Dustin Black. Like him as a prospect. He's a little bit raw. He's going to need some time to season, but I do definitely like him. And we also replaced one guy on our board with Chen Li, a Chinese-born big fella, 6'7", 235 pounds, broad-shouldered kid. And he's a high school senior, and for a team that desperately needs some depth in the front court, he could be someone that we target. Don't know a lot about him just yet, but it's going to be a mystery to see what Chen Li can bring to a team. And with only 14 out of a possible 15 spots taken up on the board, Coach Carter continues to look overseas to find one more prospect to fill out all 15 spots. And he's in between two guys right now, Kasiano Nestovic. He is a B+ rebounder at 6'9", 230 pounds, like that build from Montenegro. And we also don't know a lot about him just yet. It's going to be either between him or 6'9" center from Croatia, Zelko Barisic. He is listed at 250 pounds, and even though he's lighter, doesn't have as much meat on his bones, he seems to be a better pure rebounder with an A- rebound as a core attribute. So Coach Carter is just in between those two guys. When he gets more info, I'll let you guys know and see who he cuts his board down to and who will get that last spot on his 15-man board. So this concludes the first episode of Fordham Ram action. Honestly, a lot to like in that Syracuse game. I know we lost by 15, about what people projected us to lose by, but Syracuse, it only took one big run for them to pull away a little bit. But I mean, hey, we were down by 2 with about 9 minutes to play, so I think we did a great job hanging tough, and I am very excited for the rest of what Season 1 has to offer. We're going to take some bad losses like that, we're going to take some bumps and bruises, but all in all, it's all in the sake of the rebuild, and you guys know me, I'm all about realism and the storylines on this channel, so I'm going to welcome the challenges Coach Carter did at UT Martin. He's certainly going to do it here. So that concludes episode number 3 of the Coach Carter College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode with the Fordham Rams. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for the Manhattan game, our home opener, and our preseason tournament. Take care, everybody. Hope you guys have a good one. See you around, and stay tuned.